Namaskar with Brother Trilokeshji. Namaskar. So tell me, what got you involved with Ananda Marga?
Okay. Yes, then I mentioned that after my arrival to Canada, I really start developing strong desire to meet Ananda Margis finally. And of course, I did not know anybody. I did not have even way of contacting anybody. There was no any information. It was before internet. There was no address or telephone number of Ananda Marga Center or anything like this. Then I was really hopeless. And I remember when I was with my son, I told myself, it was, that I gave a kind of almost like a condition to Baba. I said, if you want me to be in Ananda Marga, if you want me to follow this, you have to help me to find someone. And it was really kind of actually demands from my side, there's no other way. And I remember there was this another spiritual group, which was some kind of Indonesian group, and I felt, if I'm not going to find Ananda Marga, I still want to practice some spiritual practices, I will join that group. And I was really actually firm about that. And then what happened is I was at the subway station with my son, and we were waiting for the connected bus actually, and I was I didn't know because I was still very new to Toronto, and I didn't know how to get from one place to another place. And I approached one gentleman at the platform, asking for directions, and he told me exactly how to go to different platform. And I noticed that this guy followed me, and I said, and he was very kind to me. He said, what? I know that it looks like you are very confused. If you want, I can actually go with you to the same by the same bus and show you where to go. And he actually sat with us at the bus. It's a complete stranger, and he showed us how to go. And we're on the bus, and I start chatting him. I chatting with him. I noticed that he has different accent than Canadians, and I found that he was an American expat who escaped from the Vietnam War to Canada, and he has a mala on his neck. And I said, are you practicing something? Because I noticed you have this mala. Oh, he said, he is a devotee of one guru, Satya Sai Baba. I said, oh, really? Interesting, because I'm looking for my guru. I'm looking for my guru's a group of people who are actually joining him, and his name is Sri Ananda Murti. And he opened his eyes. He said, what? I said, I'm looking for Ananda Marga. He said, well, your Baba must really love you. I said, why? He said, because I'm actually renting apartment from Ananda Marga Jagriti, Ananda Marga Jagriti. And I said, what? Really? This is incredible. And he said, yes, I live in Ananda Marga Jagriti for a few years, and then he was the one who actually, obviously Baba's grace, he brought me. How you can even explain something like that with 5 million people living in the city, and here you have a person who lives in Ananda Marga Jagriti. I could not actually believe that it happened. Yeah. It was really very, very powerful experience, and he brought me to Ananda Marga Jagriti. I met Margis there, and immediately, we start, and he was cool because he participated in our programs, though he was following his own guru, but, because he was, really using more like a tenant kind of connections with Ananda Marga, but he was big respect to us and to everything. But he was the instrument. Then Baba definitely was, the one who was helping, directing me towards that. And that was initial kind of starting point of my serious connection with Ananda Marga, though, which really took 10 years, because in 1980 I was initiated. For those years I was kind of doing my practices. I became vegetarian immediately after my initiation in 1980. Then, everything was kind of good, but I never really understood what I'm doing. And only when I actually moved to Canada and started seeing acharyas and reading Baba's books, I started really connecting with the concept, what really Ananda Marga means in my life. And that slowly started evolving. We became more and more, I would say, in tune with the mission. There was a Margii who was at that time Bhakti Pradhan. He studied Kashyap, and he said that that's unbelievable how Baba works miraculously, in such an incredible way, that he was going through the crisis and he was afraid of actually letting go Ananda Marga at that time, because he really seriously has psychological family issues related, and he could not let go, because there was nobody who can actually take over or to help maintaining or continue Ananda Marga work in Toronto. And I kind of took it over, really. He gave me that. He felt that it was like right moment that he wanted to focus on his own healing process. And then, I slowly became a unit secretary, and, I took all the responsibilities, finally became Bhakti Pradhan, and later on Ananda Marga president in Canada. Then there's many things which, of course, it naturally happens during that time when I actually started being more involved in Ananda Marga. And I feel that that everything what happened from the time of initiation to the time of coming to Canada was that invisible hand of Baba who was guiding me, who was saving me from many, many different type of situations where I suppose I should be dead already. And I feel that, that this is like definitely direct divine intervention, which I know it is Baba himself. You're saying about, what other personal experience, spiritual experience I have. I think that my main spiritual experience with Baba and Ananda Marga is that he allowed me to continue despite of difficulties, to not only practice but being somehow inspired by, without seeing him, and I was satisfied with Baba's stories. I was satisfied with the acharyas who were telling about, seeing Baba's videos, which were at that time was quite rare. And but that internal kind of connection with Baba was growing deeper and deeper, and I feel that that's what really sustained me, and it sustains right now. And the best example of this, how powerful that Baba's grace is, allowing him, because it's not really up to me, so it's completely in his hands. That during COVID time, when everything stopped, and I felt that for my spiritual growth, COVID time was actually the best time in my spiritual growth. And why is that? Because, as you know, and probably it happens also in Australia, that people start coming, many people stop coming to Jagritis for Dhamma Chakra or collective group. People start joining online different activities, and that's what exactly happened to us. Canada is very big, and we have a small units, one in Toronto, one is in Ottawa, the other one is on the west coast in Vancouver, and we have very kind of sporadic, very rare connection with the Margiis from other regions of Canada. But at that time when COVID happens, we actually started this Zoom and Google Meet Dharma Chakra, and we start reconnecting like never before. We start really making this incredible connections with the Margiis from all the regions of Canada, and having a regular Dharma Chakra twice a week, every Wednesday and every Saturday, without stop, never skipped. I never skipped for the last how many years passed since the COVID started. And that was like incredible that we have this satsang in such a regular base. And I have so much chance for not only being with Margis, but talking about Baba's philosophy, studying kind of period or time during our Dharma Chakra for those days and for those years. And I felt like I was growing, I was maturing, I was deepening my knowledge about Baba because of this. Then for me, really this virtual Dharma Chakra was another saving or deepening my connection with Baba. And I didn't miss the physical presence of other Margis because we have that connection on that level. Maybe it was virtual, but it was so deep that we feel that now this is like we cannot imagine not having these programs. We have the two acharyas who are attending programs all the time with us, and and occasionally we have Margis from all over the world joining us, and it's beautiful. It's really great, and I feel that we are really building this kind of nice small community of Margis who are supporting each other, who normally will not be able to attend Dharma Chakra. Then this is something great means of actually building that connection with the Margis.
So when are these programs? They're once a week or is there online Dharma
Twice
Chakra?
a week. They're twice a week, every Wednesday and every Saturday at 8 o'clock Eastern time, our Toronto time. Yeah. And that's something which we've done and we're continuing and we're going to do that. Also because of we live so far away from each other. The closest other Margii which we have lives 200 kilometers away from us. Then physically it's impossible almost to meet. When I was living in closer to Toronto, and then afterwards we moved to the countryside. We bought the farm, and we lived there. Then we're commuting. We're coming for Dharma Chakra, driving like 2 hours every week for almost like 13 years. But it was exhausting, And here now we have more time for each other. We have more time to actually spend because of the virtual. Then I think that's kind of next stage of being of growing as a Margis. That that we cannot kind of ignore that technology allowing us to be closer. Because, as you know, I returned from Portugal and we went for the Ananda Marga festival in Portugal, which happened on the 12th of July. And, it was a very, very nice gathering of a few hundred people. It was mostly related to more community. It was not really like a Ananda Marga program. It was organized by Ananda Marga, by acharyas, for the community, to build community. And it was very successful. It was beautiful. They are doing such an incredible job there at the master unit. And again, it was like the transition from virtual to the real one was so natural, and I really feel that some people are afraid of this kind of online, or they feel that something is missed. But I think it's a more mental blockage, because how can you miss something which is, everything is dimensional, spiritual dimensions. Yes, physicality, yes, it's important, and we have opportunities, but the most important is spiritual growth, and I think that's something which I encourage all the units to use and embrace technology and do more programs like that. I think, of course, all of us have very unique and very, very individual relationship with Baba. And the same like you or anybody else, we have that strong love for Baba, based on, on that, how we actually nurture this relationship over those years, And with my many good and bad things, with mistakes I've done, I feel like it's only Baba who actually supported me. And actually, before we end, there was a moment where Baba actually intervention was not so much a dream, but was intervention, which I think kind of dramatically changed my life on this kind of logic on the physical level. And that was, I was teaching at university in Poland before when I left Poland. And of course, I was always interested in academia. I wanted to always teach. And I that my kind of my expertise or my interest is in visual arts, and I didn't know what I'm going to do when I came to Canada, and being a teacher in different country and then doing the same in different countries, completely different stories. It's not so easy, but I was lucky enough to get my qualifications approved by the Canadian authorities, and I actually started teaching in Canada quite fast. But then I actually quit teaching because I became more involved in graphic design and illustration. I started working with the prestigious companies all over the world, with Disney, with New York Times, with many kind of important publishers. And for almost 20 years, I worked with them. But then in 2008, everything stopped. The publishing, I would say, industry in the crisis started actually being affected by that, and I lost a lot of all my clients, and I was kind of hopeless. I didn't know what to do, and I was actually desperate to do something. And at that time, I connected my Minister of Education to return to teaching, and I found that my day before that, and that was like Baba's voice really was telling me, you have to contact immediately. And I contacted them, and I found that it was day before expiry of my, and it would be impossible for me to get my papers back. And and I called the Minister of Education, and there was this lady who said, no, I cannot really help you. It's too late. But then this another person who came from nowhere helped actually to resolve these issues. And when later on, when I actually tried to contact that person again, this other office secretary in the ministry, she said that this person never was there. She was not part of the. They don't have a record of the person working. Then I got actually my paperwork and everything in order, and start again continue teaching only by Baba's grace. Last day, and with the person who I was never able to trace and find out, and nobody knows about that. Then again, is it up to everybody to judge if it was a Baba or not? I think it was a direct Baba's intervention. Yeah. I'm lucky to teach right now in high school, and I'm very happy with that. But again, this is that kind of direct intervention, which I think is Baba's grace. That's how I would say is my biggest kind of gratitude on that physical level of Baba's help.
That's a lovely way to end, I think, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
Namaskar.
Thank you very much. Namaskar.